Court grants former Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, daughter, others 100 million naira bail each. Military move out of Delta community Okwama. Kaduna to relocate 359 schools over insecurity. And on the foreign scene, Kenyan's doctors sign agreement to end strike after almost 2 months. Hello, welcome to Trust News Update. My name is Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. The Federal High Court in Abuja has granted 100 million naira bail each to former Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, his daughter, and 2 others. According to the court, they are also to provide 2 shorties who must have landed properties in Abuja. The shorties, the court said, must also be responsible citizens. The shorty must depose to an affidavit of means. The court also restricted the defendants from traveling abroad without its permission. Justice Orji ordered that the defendants should be remanded in prison custody if they failed to meet their bail conditions. They are being tried over an alleged fraud to the tune of 2.7 billion naira. The Nigerian military has moved out its personnel from Delta troubled community Okwama in Ughelli South local government area of the state. Governor Sheriff Oborori disclosed this in a statement he personally signed and published on the official X handle of Delta State government on Wednesday. The governor said the military finally withdrew its personnel from Okwama community on Wednesday, May 8, 2024. Recall that the army had maintained its occupation in Okwama after 17 personnel, including 4 officers and 13 soldiers, were killed in the community in an alleged ambush in March 2024. Now moving over to Kaduna, where the state government has disclosed plans to merge a total of 359 schools over incessant activities of bandits which had resulted in cases of abduction and kidnapping in the state. Speaking at a stakeholders forum and the training of the Schools Protection Squad, Governor Uba Sani, represented by his Chief of Staff, Sani Kela, said the schools in vulnerable communities would be merged with those in safe locations as part of measures to safeguard the schools and children from being attacked by bandits. According to him, the launched School Protection Squad under the federal government's Safe School initiative is aimed at securing schools, children and teachers from all forms of attack by bandits and terrorists. Kila said he believed that no nation could achieve its human capital development goals and continue its path towards sustainable development when its schools are threatened by insecurity. He listed measures being implemented as fencing of schools, the establishment of security and safety response communities with membership drawn from schools and communities, deployment of Kaduna Vigilance Service to schools, provision of emergency lines to schools, amongst others. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC) has commenced registration of point-of-sale operators, also known as POS agents, following the directive from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Speaking on the development at the Office Corporate Affairs Commission in Abuja, CAC Registrar General Hussein Ishaq said the initiative is to effectively regulate the subsector by mitigating illicit activities and guaranteeing service delivery. The Registrar General said the Commission is providing a 24-hour service to ensure prompt and speedy registration of the financial service providers, urging them to ensure they meet the July 7th deadline.
It's seamless to the customers. What we did, we accommodated the requests from the fintechs individually now. We have given them opportunity to have integration with the Corporate Affairs Commission. They have developed their own structure. We gave them API. They have access from their platform. Once they click, they can do some certain registration. Once they supply the necessary information for registration, generally the certificate will be generated and transmitted to their own platform directly without coming to anyone or to do so. For those, this is part of what we did to ensure that everyone got it easily without any hitches. And in the event And in the event they choose to make it, to have it in a manual application that they used to do it now. That's how we have secretariat, which is open, or if you can do it, whatever. But we have applications called VAS. VAS application is to accommodate that kind of bulk registration that can come. If you are a fintech, you have 1 million applications. If you can send it at once to the CAC, we have the platform that can accommodate such kind of applications, and that we have a facility to respond to your application. But if you decide to come manually, so be it, we are ready to take it.
A bill aimed at providing documentation and protection for domestic workers and employees has passed the second reading in the upper chamber of the National Assembly. Trust TV's Senate correspondent Sagir Ibrahim brings us more.
Senator Hussaini Uba, the sponsor of the bill, expressed concern over the lack of codified legislation in Nigeria to safeguard the rights of domestic workers, addressing the dire working conditions and human rights violations they endure. During the debate on the bill's general principles, Senator Uba highlighted that a significant number of domestic workers in the country operate without registration and often outside the boundaries of labor laws.
This bill will also reduce and deter the propensity of domestic workers' connivance with criminal elements against their employers by maintaining full biometric data and other relevant background information of domestic workers nationwide. This bill does not only seek to protect domestic workers, it will also protect the employers of domestic workers.
Other lawmakers backing the bill emphasized the need for imposing sanctions and appropriate penalties to safeguard domestic workers from exploitation and abuse.
I think time has come actually for this country to put in place specific laws to safeguard whoever is engaged. We must have specific terms of engagement so that cases of infraction can be actually dealt with in a manner that all parties involved can have justice.
I think there will be need for us to look at it based on this bill and regulate it, impose necessary fines, impose necessary punishment for any abuse.
Sometimes some people pay starvation wages. Slavery has been outlawed in Nigeria. When you pay a wage that doesn't meet the minimum need of a person, and because of economic circumstances he has no choice, it tantamount to slavery.
I want to suggest that this can be a directorate, this can be a department in the Ministry of Labour and Productivity, rather than having a commission, a whole commission to take care of this issue.
In his ruling, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, referred the bill to the Senate Committee on Labour and Productivity, granting a 4-week period to report back to plenary for additional legislative input.
Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
If passed by the National Assembly and assented to by the President, the bill will tackle instances of assault and abuse of domestic workers in Nigeria, simultaneously safeguarding the rights of their employers. However, concerns arise regarding the feasibility of expanding government bureaucracy to accommodate another agency, given Nigeria's current economic challenges.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives, on the other hand, Wednesday resolved to constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate the circumstances leading to the untimely death of 4-year-old Hall School pupil Miguel Ovoke. This followed a motion of urgent matter of public importance moved by Representative Kelechi Nwogu. Let's take this and other stories from the Green Chamber.
The tragic tale of 4-year-old Miguel Ovoke, who was reportedly killed under mysterious circumstances, has been awash in the media since it occurred. The public outcry over the incident has prompted the lower chamber of parliament to dig into the actual circumstances surrounding the incident.
Concerned about the traumatic effect of the sudden death of this little boy, Miguel Ovoke, on the family and that of the classmates. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are further concerned about the negative image this act will leave on our country in the sympathy of nations if such is not addressed. Mr. Speaker, we pray as follows. Constitute a special ad hoc committee to investigate the circumstances leading to this untimely death of this young little boy within and report back within 4 weeks.
The House has set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the matter and report back to the House for further legislative action. In a related development, the House moved in favor of a motion on the importance to have security presence in schools across the nation.
Over 180 school children were killed and nearly 90 injured in 70 attacks between April 2014 and December 2022. Mr. Speaker, with an estimated 60 school staff kidnapped and 14 killed. 25 school buildings were reportedly destroyed during that period. The majority of these attacks took place in northwest Nigeria, where we had about 49 attacks, followed by north-central Nigeria, where we had about 11 attacks. Mr. Speaker, the House is concerned that in Nigeria, the number of out-of-school children, as per the report from the UNICEF, was put at 10.5 million, Mr. Speaker.
Also, during plenary, the House supported a proposal to look into the security breach that allowed a Binance executive to escape from jail.
Further worried that the escape of the Binance executive from the office of the National Security Advisor using a smuggled passport is, to say the least, most disappointing, embarrassing, and disturbing as it portrays the porosity of the security architecture of the country to the world.
Meanwhile, a motion into the urgent need for the restoration of the Northeast sub-region to the national grid and upgrade of transmission conductors in the region was adopted.
Whereas the current state of transmission conductors in the Northeast sub-region is inadequate and outdated, leading to transmission losses and inefficiencies in the supply of electricity to the region. Whereas the lack of reliable electricity supply hinders economic development, industrial growth, and social well-being in the Northeast sub-region, impacting the lives of millions of residents.
The House adjourned plenary till Thursday for further legislative action.
Meanwhile, the River State House of Assembly has once more vetoed Governor Siminalayi Fubara by consolidating the River State Local Government Amendment Law No. 5 of 2015-2023 and No. 4 of 2024. After the consolidation, the state lawmakers passed into a unified law. They said this is to correct all discrepancies in the individual amendment, some of which include appointment into the board of the Local Government Commission and the payment of political office holders at the local government level. He, however, urged them to focus on the task ahead and provide quality representation for their various constituencies. Now, this is coming barely 24 hours after the APC caretaker chairman in the state called for a resumption of impeachment proceedings against the governor by the Assembly. Meanwhile, Victor Jombo has emerged as factional Speaker of the River State House of Assembly. 2 members of the Assembly elected Jombo as a Speaker.
To another legislative day, we will brief the press. We will communicate our proceedings to the public and engage them. We will make sure that they are part of what we are doing to ensure that there is transparency and clarity in the 10th Legislative Assembly. Well, I have already directed the clerk to notify His Excellency the Governor that a new leadership has emerged in the River State House of Assembly and that we are ready to work for Rivers people.
The Jigawa State government has completed the visibility and environmental impact assessment studies for the Special Agro-Processing Zone, Project Phase 2. The milestone was unveiled during a collaborative meeting between the Jigawa State government and a delegation comprising the Federal Ministry of Finance, the African Development Bank, and the National Office of Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone in Dutse. The report.
The successful completion of these studies signifies a significant step towards securing the necessary funding for the project slated for early next year.
I know states were given until end of May to prepare feasibility studies and ASHAs, and would like to commend the Jigawa State government for being ahead of time compared to other states. So we're very thankful. We're yet to review, and soon after this, we're going to have a technical meeting with the consultants chaired by Honorable Commissioner Agric. And then we're going to go for a site visit to Gagarawa to just see the site there. And then we'll continue with our desk work and the preparation of the project.
Jigawa State is ahead of time. The feasibility study is ready and Isha study is also ready. So now it's left for the bank to go and review this document. And by the grace of God, if these documents are intact, then we are good to go. Then we wait for the bank to approve this loan. Then by next year, Jigawa State will be on board.
So we are producing. We are also creating jobs and wealth to creating opportunities for value addition for the produce that are produced over here in the States. So that is what the SAP is about. And Jigawa has been very exemplary in the areas of production. In fact, this year alone, and this is my third time of coming here this year, where Jigawa states this substantial hectarage in the cultivation of wheat.
Meanwhile, Jigawa's proactive approach is evident in its ongoing efforts at the Gagarawa Industrial Cluster, where essential infrastructure like road networks, uninterrupted power supply, and water facilities have already been established.
We are committed to this project because we believe it will have a lot of benefit for our people. Jigawa State is an agrarian state, and we believe we have a population of almost close to 7.5 million by the last estimate, and about 35% of that population are youth. And we hope that this project will certainly provide an avenue to engage this number of people so that they will have a means of livelihood. The SABC is a very good program. We have studied it, and that's why we decided to key in into it. We are fully ready to key into the project, and the government is committed to the project, and we are ready to give all the necessary support for this project.
Through strategic partnerships with the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone program, aimed at bolstering household incomes, generating employment opportunities, particularly for youth and women in the rural agricultural communities, and fortifying food security, Jigawa State, along with its collaborators, is poised to establish state-of-the-art processing centers. The primary objectives are to curtail agricultural product wastage, ensure high-quality packaging for export, and ultimately alleviate poverty and elevate living standards across the region.
This is News Update coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up after the break, Gombe residents decry negative impacts 3 weeks after electricity tower vandalism. More news when we return. Do stay. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update coming to you from Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headline stories again. Court grants former Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, daughter and others 100 million naira bail each. Military move out of Delta community, Okwama. Now moving on, Borno State Governor Babangana Zulum has assured that his government will ensure quality education that will ensure the transformation of the sector across the state. The government stated this at the first phase flagged off of the training of 1,949 teachers in Wakabiu College of Education in Biu local government. Governor Zulum revealed that the teachers training program will capture 2,730 teachers, while 846 will be enrolled in NCE programs. It will be recalled that a competency test conducted revealed that out of more than 15,000, only 5,257 passed, while more than 6,000 failed. Zulum said he will ensure the revitalization of the education sector and prioritize its 25 years development plan. Moving on, nearly 3 weeks after the vandalization of the electricity tower in the Gombe-Bauchi axis, which interrupted power supply in the state, residents of the affected areas say the development has negatively impacted their daily lives and prevented most small businesses from rendering services. Grinding machine operators who are among the affected businesses say they are now falling into the unemployed group as power outage bites harder. Hassan Kohli has more.
Gombe is known for its vibrant economic activities, including the grinding business, which plays a crucial role in the local economy by providing essential services for the households and other businesses. However, the persistent issue of erratic power supply has significantly impacted the sector, affecting their operations and profitability, as these businesses heavily rely on electricity to power their grinding machines, which are essential for processing grains. 29-year-old Usman has been in the grinding business for many years. For him, this is the only means of sustaining his family. This development has affected our business and daily activities too, because we have not been able to work for the past 2 weeks. We have a lot of grains on queue waiting for electricity. At times, we only have access to power supply for some minutes or an hour throughout the day. But on the average, we only get a maximum supply of 2 hours daily. The government should take action on this because we are facing difficulties sustaining our lives. This inconsistency not only affects the efficiency of businesses, but also frustrates customers who rely on timely services, making Usman and his colleague unemployed and thinking of alternative means of livelihood. Power outages are indeed setbacks to our business. As it is now, we cannot afford water to drink, nor take responsibility for our family at home. In fact, this power outage is making us unemployed and liability. We really need government intervention for the speedy repair of the vandalized power tower in order to restore power supply in Gombe. The lack of power supply has resulted in financial losses for grinding businesses, which oftentimes resort to alternative power sources such as generators, which are expensive to fuel and maintain. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
And now to the foreign scene. Doctors in Kenya's public hospital have agreed to resume work, calling off a nationwide strike which lasted for close to 2 months. Davji Atela, the union secretary general, on Wednesday confirmed the doctors have decided to place their trust in the government to address the issues leading to the strike. These issues primarily revolved around inadequate pay and working conditions. This development comes after a labor court in Kenya had on Tuesday, May 7th, given doctors and the government 48 hours to sign a return-to-work agreement, failure to which the matter would be determined by the court. And in Ghana, the Supreme Court of Ghana has commenced deliberations on the challenge to the anti-LGBTQ+ legislation passed by Parliament earlier this year. Richard Delasky, a lawyer and journalist, was granted permission by the court to contest the contentious bill, which imposes strict penalties, including imprisonment, for individuals identifying as LGBTQ+ or advocating for LGBTQ+ rights. The lawsuit, which was filed in March, sought to halt the bill's progress, urging the court to prevent parliamentary officials from forwarding the bill to the president for approval and to block President Nana Akufo-Addo from enacting it into law. President Akufo-Addo has indicated his intent to await the Supreme Court's ruling before deciding on the bill's fate. The case has been adjourned until May 17th. And in sport, Nigeria's national under-17 female team, the Flamingos, are expected to leave for Bamako, the Malian capital, today ahead of the Saturday's FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup African Qualification Series third round. First leg clash against Burkina Faso, the Nigeria have failed to appear in only one edition of the competition in Uruguay 2018 since it was launched in New Zealand in 2008 and are set for a handsome win in the Malian capital to make the return leg in Abuja on May 18th in academic exercise. Despite punishing one of their opponents in a warm game, head coach Bankole said the girls. Meanwhile, the Confederation of the African Football has made a change to the fourth official of Saturday's match at the State 26 match in Bamako. However, CAF has now appointed Teneba Bayoko from Mali to be the fourth official Omar Suleiman Kanye from Mauritania and Aya Irina Hoa from Côte d'Ivoire have been retained. France has welcomed the Olympic torch to its shores with a colorful show by the jets of the Parlo de France, the acrobatic team of the French Air Force, on Wednesday. Tens of thousands of people, including French President Emmanuel Macron, gathered to welcome the Olympic torch and mark another milestone in the lead-up to the Summer Games in Paris. A majestic three-mast ship carried the Olympic torch from Greece for the welcoming ceremony at sunset in the city's old port. The torch was lit in Greece last month before it was officially handed to France. It left Athens aboard a ship named Belem, which was first used in 1896 and spent 12 days at sea. The torch now begins a 79-day relay across the country before the Summer Games starts. With that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. Thanks for watching. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.